one more hormone that has a significant impact on this area of the body, and it's something that we have a lot of clients struggle with, and that's the change in estrogen, particularly when women get to perimenopause and estrogen levels become a little bit erratic and eventually just drop off after menopause. So officially 1 year after a woman has their last menstrual period, that's when like
you
officially
become
menopause.
Yep.
And that means your estrogen is like through the floor. I mean, Sai, can you just check the actual ratios? But it is literally through the floor compared to what it would have been during a normal period of menstruation.
Yeah.
And estrogen's designed to prep your body for pregnancy. So it makes sense. In menopause, you're not going to get pregnant, don't need any estrogen, right?
Yeah.
But estrogen was one of the things that told your body to store fat around your hips and your thighs, because that's somewhere that is easy to access when it wants to feed a growing baby.
Makes sense.
Don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So that's when we find this middle-age spread, or whatever you want to call it, becomes really common. And people say, like, I haven't changed anything. I'm doing the same exercise routine. I'm eating the same. But all of a sudden, I've got like this fat tummy that I've never had.
We hear this so much, like so many people like DM the page, and it's just like a common problem. And it gets labeled as a meno-belly to an extent, like it's menopausal belly that you've got. And it's the same thing is happening in the sense of, how am I just all of a sudden getting this like fat stomach? I've not changed anything really, and it can feel like such a shock. And then you're trying so many different things and it's not working, or the things you used to try are not working, and it's a real shock to the system for so many women.
Yeah, and Sai's just got up the figures there. So for a premenopausal woman who's having regular periods, it could be up to 400. I don't know what the P stands for. Do you know what the P stands for?
Yeah, it's picograms per milliliter.
There we go. So it could be up to 400 picograms per milliliter for premenopausal. After, could be 0 up to 30 picograms, which is actually like in the ballpark of what a man has. So it is a huge change that's going on in your body, and you might not be changing anything in your lifestyle, but actually this is a real factor when it comes to your body weight distribution. And we're not saying you can't lose weight, but where you store the weight that's left might look different to when you were 30.
Yeah, which is tough, you know what I mean? Like, again, there's risks as well to gaining belly fat, which we've covered a little bit earlier. But also, you know, if you've not really been someone that's carried belly fat or has had a little bit of belly fat, but then it's changed and got worse, you know, that can feel like a real shock to the system. And especially when you're maybe not even that aware, like maybe just going through perimenopause, maybe not even aware you're going through perimenopause, and you're seeing these changes, and it's like, what's going on? It can be a real shock to the system.
It can. And this is something that, you know, it isn't impossible to affect. You can look into HRT, but there are also all those other factors to belly fat that if you don't want to go down that route, you still have the choice to take control of your sleep, your stress, your activity levels, your muscle mass, your diet composition, how much sugar are you eating, how much fiber, how much protein. So again, it's not to say, well, if your estrogen levels have dropped off, well, that's it now. You're destined to have a spare tire, but it's something to be aware of.
It is, yeah. Menopause, and there's a menopause and there's a male menopause as well, but both of them are just hormone deficiencies. And how you have to just look at that is sometimes people will just take that knee-jerk approach to going to take HRT or TRT for guys. And even though that can have an impact, if you've not got your sleep, your regular training, your stress management, an overall healthier diet in place, like, it can make a difference taking something like HRT or TRT, but it's still not going to be as effective as it could be if you're not taking those steps. So it is something to be aware of, because there is always that knee-jerk reaction of like, oh, just take a pill and fix the problem. And like, I completely understand. That feels like a much easier route to go down, but sometimes you might then just take that pill and it's like, then what? You know what I mean? You might be taking HRT and it's like, I still don't feel as good. And it's like, yeah, you now at this time or the season in your life, it does become more important than ever to, make sure that you are, managing certain parts of your health in a really good way. And then if you are doing that and you go down the HRT route, you'll feel even better. Like, you'll feel fantastic. So, it's those healthy habits and healthy lifestyle choices that we always talk about are just so important at every stage of your life to have a better quality of life. But yeah, even more so as you start to go through perimenopause and menopause.
Yeah, and I think actually for some people it can be a bit of a kick in the ass to to make these changes because it does become two very diverging paths. If you don't start to take control of your habits and your lifestyle and your diet at this point in your life, you may have got away with it for decades.
Yeah.
And like, I hate this phrase, but you might have been skinny fat, you know, like you fit in nice clothes, you look lovely, but you're not actually healthy. And so this makes you take stock and say, do you know what? I'm going to choose things that not only make me feel and look better, but I am actually going to be healthier as well. So I think it does come to a point, and this is where a lot of our clients join us, that they've decided enough's enough. I'm actually going to put me first, because maybe for decades, actually, they were always putting someone else first as well.
Definitely, and especially if you're at that age of going through perimenopause and menopause, you've probably put your career first in the past, and then your family and your kids, and everyone else has kind of come before you, and you get it, but you know, you do need to pour back into you if you want to be around for a long haul and stay healthy and have that energy and quality of life as you age, because you know, you definitely see this, and the gap is gonna get wider, especially the way society is set up now, is that as people age, you know, when you're 20, if you're fit and healthy and someone's not fit and healthy, the gap in quality of life isn't that drastic. When you get to 30, the gap widens. When you get to 40, it really widens. Like it's a very different people and different lives. 50, huge. 60, like some people could be
Dead.
Yeah, quite frankly.
I know,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, even before that. But then also like the amount of 60-year-olds that I know now who are like fit, healthy, run around like they run around like they're in their 20s and they're 60. Like when I was a kid, like it didn't feel like I knew any 60-year-olds like that, but that is the case now. But if you are someone that hasn't, you know, those bad habits do compound over time, and it's never to dissuade anyone. Like if you haven't started in your 20s, like you can start at any age, and the difference in the quality of life that you can have. And you know, some people are like, oh well, I'm not going to be here for another, you know, 10 or 15. You know, like you could probably be here for double or triple the length of time that you maybe believe. And like, why wouldn't you want to have the highest quality of life that you could?